covering the entire Piedmont Triad and everywhere you are. This is WXII 12 News at 6.
Tonight on WXII 12 News at 6, it was 54 years ago today that a group of Greensboro students started a nationwide movement. How people are celebrating this civil rights anniversary. Plus, the deep freeze is over. How long the warmer temperatures will last. But first,
when I stopped the car and seen the severity of it, I was brokenhearted. I had to stop and shed lots of tears.
A church destroyed by fire and a congregation forced to rebuild. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Veronica White. Firefighters are still trying to figure out exactly what started the blaze that left only the building's brick frame. Our Talitha Vickers has more from Davidson County.
Picking up the pieces, church members are in disbelief after this early morning fire basically tore through Wayside Baptist Tabernacle. The fire is currently out. Firefighters on scene just making sure all hot spots are out. However, early this morning, take a look at this video where flames could be seen shooting through the roof of Wayside Baptist Tabernacle. Early Saturday morning, firefighters battled this blaze with 2 ladder trucks from up above and on the ground. 7 different units were brought in to get the fire under control, and a portion of the roof of the church actually collapsed. Thankfully, no one was inside at the time, no firefighters injured. People who live in this area say they initially heard an alarm go off, and moments later, smoke could be seen coming from the steeple of 104 Forest Hill Road. Church members fought back tears as they embraced and held each other in disbelief. Others heard the news and came to see what's left of their place of worship.
I was brokenhearted. I had to stop and shed lots of tears. So when I came over here, the flames were already tipping the sky and the church was pretty much destroyed. But it's just a building, you know, and God has a great purpose and plan, and Wayside Baptist Tabernacle will stand strong and we'll come back. You know, we won't be defeated.
We're told 2 residents who actually live next door to this church had to be evacuated from their homes just as a precaution. The fire did not jump any lines and travel over to the residential area. We can't really get back there because there is yellow tape surrounding the church at this hour. We also do know that a church member is not only devastated by this fire, they're hoping to pick up the pieces, but they're really dealing with a lot. Their former pastor of 41 years actually passed away last January, so this in connection with that is very, very tough for them. They're not sure yet where they're going to have church services, but right next door, as you can see here behind me, there is another chapel that they may use sometime in the future. Reporting from Davidson County, I'm Talitha Vickers for WXII 12 News.
Well, Captain Sterling Siddharth is still in the hospital after he and 3 other firefighters were injured battling a blaze at a body shop in Greensboro. They were injured when a roof collapsed at the Knight's Body Repair Shop on South Elm Street. Officials say the fire was an accident. They say when it started when gas from a car leaked onto the floor and a worker accidentally dropped a portable light on the fuel and ignited the blaze. The other 3 firefighters that were taken to the hospital have all been released, and Captain Siddharth's condition is improving. His family says that he's now up and moving around. They'd like to also thank the fire departments across the Triad and the rest of the community for their support.
And take a look right now. You can see that we have showers scooting up along the coast, and that's where our rain chance is going to come into play if we have one at all tonight. Just a slight possibility of a few sprinkles, especially as we go from the foothills through the Triad. A little bit of this moisture lifting in along the coast. We have another front back to the west that we're monitoring for possible showers late tomorrow into your Monday as well. So we've got a lot of action happening over the next couple of days that does not involve snow, I'm happy to report. 53 degrees right now in Greensboro, 56 in Winston-Salem, 57 in Danville. You have 55 in Martinsville, 46 in Galax. Now, radar showing you that we have a pretty dry picture at this hour. A little bit of light sprinkles possible down to the south and east, but most of this is not actually making it all to the ground. We do have dry conditions for the most part, and overnight partly clear skies. Temperatures down into the 30s and mid-30s for Sparta and Galax as well. You might even be a touch warmer there. We'll have more details on what you can anticipate for your Sunday. A nice little warm up on the way too.
And in about 24 hours, the Seahawks and the Broncos are going to be facing off in the first ever cold weather open air stadium Super Bowl. Sarah Dolph has the story from New Jersey.
It's a Super Bowl so big, the celebrations stretch over 2 states. New York City rolled out the red carpet in the form of Super Bowl Boulevard, a 13-block stretch of Times Square dedicated to all things football.
Hey, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, man.
Even officials have found the time to get in on the fun.
We're so proud the NFL came here, and it's having an amazing impact on New York, and people are loving it. They're really loving it.
The city is home to one of the priciest tailgate parties ever. Watching the game at the Old Homestead Steakhouse costs $150,000 and includes Kobe steaks and top-shelf alcohol for you and 20 of your closest friends. In New Jersey, MetLife Stadium awaits the arrival of 80,000 screaming fans as final security preps wrap up. Customs and Border Protection has a fleet of aircraft ready to patrol the no-fly zone above the stadium.
Our primary job is to intercept that aircraft, determine whether they're friend or foe.
On the ground, fans will go through what's being described as a soft security screening, similar to the process at the airport. And ladies, leave your purses at home. Nothing larger than a clutch is allowed through the gates. That includes fanny packs. And ticket holders are being asked to report suspicious behavior. An extra 80,000 pairs of eyes looking for potential threats.
Tickets are still available, but now that the weather forecast is looking good, they are jumping in price, in some cases as much as 50%. In East Rutherford, New Jersey, Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
And the Olympic Games begin in less than a week, and the athletes have started to arrive. Members of the U.S. team, as well as the teams from UK, as well as Kazakhstan, have arrived in the Russian resort town on Thursday. To keep the games safe, Russia has deployed more than 50,000 police officers and soldiers, as well as air defense forces and patrol boats. Protesters are also arriving ahead of the games, and today, Sochi's official protest zone hosted its first protest. Members of the local Communist Party demanded welfare payments for those raised during World War II. The protest zone is 7.5 miles from the nearest Olympic venue. And protesters in Kiev expect very little to be accomplished at today's Munich Security Conference. Ukrainian opposition leaders traveled to the German city to attend the conference, which is known for its backroom diplomacy and negotiations. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who attended the conference, said the crisis in Ukraine is about ordinary people fighting for the right to associate with the European Union.
And they have decided that that means their futures do not have to lie with one country alone, and certainly not coerced. The United States and the EU stand with the people of Ukraine in that fight.
And Ukraine's political crisis is now 2 months old. Protesters are calling for the ouster of their president, who they accuse of corruption and heavy-handed tactics. Right now, the International Civil Rights Center and Museum in Greensboro is celebrating the 54th anniversary of the 1960 Woolworth lunch counter sit-in protest. The museum is holding their annual gala to honor the 4 North Carolina A&T State University students who sat down to get service at a whites-only lunch counter. This year has extra significance as one of the Greensboro 4, Franklin McCain, died just last month. The museum is also honoring recording legend Quincy Jones with the Alston Jones International Civil and Human Rights Award. Tomorrow we'll have more from internationally known music producer and humanitarian Quincy Jones with an in-depth report from Talitha Vickers. Kids in 2 Piedmont counties spent part of the day today in school, making up class time missed due to this week's wintry weather. Students in Davie and Alamance counties headed back to school for an abbreviated day. Parents say it took some coercing to get the kids up and out the door this morning.
They tried to talk me out of it, but I wouldn't let them.
What were they saying? Come on.
They weren't going to count you absent if you didn't go or not. That's what he said at high school. I said, too bad, you gotta go.
Gotta go.
Well, school started at the regular time, but they had dismissal at noon. And folks in Burlington got a chance to give into their sweet tooth today at the Cheers for Chocolate Festival. The annual festival features samples from local businesses, a cookie and dessert contest, and a silent auction. Proceeds from the event go to Christmas Cheer of Alamance County, which has been providing food and clothes for the needy for over 80 years. And tonight, 12-year Saturday Night Live veteran and Weekend Update host Seth Meyers will say goodbye to SNL. When we come back, the thing he says he will miss about the SNL and the new thing he'll get to do now that he's taking over late night.
And you're taking a look back over downtown Greensboro. Plenty of clouds in the midst today, but we had some sunshine too and great temperatures. 50s out there. Wait till you see tomorrow's highs. It's going to be great. Coming up.